That was a really loud one. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of the Survival Let's Play series with me, Guy Tries. This is episode 18, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys for joining me today on our little adventure. Thank you very much. As you can see, we are currently held up in our library over here. This library we're going to use in order. My gosh, that lightning scared me. We're going to use this library and we're going to fill this whole place up with a bunch of books. And in those books, we're going to have each and every one of your comments. So guys, go ahead and get commenting. Let me know what you like about today's episode, what you didn't like, and perhaps what you would like to see in up and coming episodes. So we'll put them into books, and then we'll put them into all of these bookshelves over here. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of space. So go ahead and get commenting. Can't wait to start filling this place up. But speaking of this place, let's go ahead and let's take a little look at the actual interior and see what we've done to this place. Nothing too crazy, as you can see. Very simple in terms of what I've done. We didn't clutter this place up. Kept it very neat and very simple. We got some display cabinets over here. We got some little reading nooks, both on the aisles and also on the corners, as you can see. But nothing too spectacular. We do have hidden lighting sources. I do have some candles up there, but most of our light that actually is functional, that stops mob spawning, does come from these glowstones that I've hidden behind paintings. Now, speaking of this book cabinet over here, this display cabinet, sorry, we're going to have a whole bunch of armor trims and armor stands inside of these. Some members on my Discord have requested that they have their armor trim designs put in here, and I think that's what we'll do. Fantastic idea. Then we'll have a book over here displaying which person had selected or had created this armor trim. So we'll do that, but I think we'll do that towards the end of today's episode, maybe, but we'll definitely add in the books and the comments by the day's end. Okay? Other than that, we do have these really cool arches. As you can see, we started with the same gradient that we have in this entire area. Though it is dark to light versus dark to light from top to bottom and bottom to top. For this one, dark to light, as you can see. We have the spruce trimmings and also this little archway. Now, arches are a fantastic thing to use. If you use them correctly, they're very good at framing certain things. For us, we have this really ugly wall right in front of us. But if you do use it correctly and you have something really cool on the other side, you can put all these arches in and it kind of directs your eye down straight that way, which I think is a very cool idea if you guys aren't already using it. For us, we're using these arches to show us depth. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pillars that kind of run all the way down, and without these pillars, you can't really tell. Well, you can tell that this is a big space, but with these arches in, you can tell that it's a very long space. Okay, so these arches provide us with depth, and also they look freaking cool. So we have them on both sides, as you can see, and at the very top over there, let's talk about a little emblem. I'm just going to stay over here. At the very top, you can see we got that little book emblem that I've made. We have that for the, I think, other library, which is down that way. And that library is where we keep all of our librarians and where we keep all the enchanted books. I figured if we add it in here with a bunch of ropes holding onto it, it looks pretty cool. It kind of adds to that very top over there, so it's not very plain. Now, I don't think this actual build is complete. We still do have a whole bunch of empty space, which is not a bad thing, but I think for a library, it should be a little bit more, I don't want to say suffocating, but it should definitely have a lot more things in here. I think we will add some more of these cabinets later on. We can put them along the sides of each of these pillars as well, maybe on the sides of the walls over there, because they are quite plain. But for now, I think we'll leave it as is, because we do have to build something outside, and that is going to do with the library still. So let's go ahead and let's sleep the night away, or let's sleep the thunder away, so we can go ahead and start building. Sounds fantastic. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's not look at that guy. Let's go to sleep. Nice. Look at that, guys. Doesn't that look absolutely fantastic? Don't look at this. We did have a friend visit us whilst we were walking around, but look at this massive, or look at these massive banners that we have going on here. Don't they look absolutely fantastic? I think it does. This nice big red banner sitting on these mossy stone stands. I think it's a great fit and it matches perfectly with this big library building over here. Of course, we do have some banners over here that we might need to change out. Make them red as well. I think red does have a better pop. But of course, this is not my design. Not completely. I did change it up a little bit. Well, I did change it up drastically because we don't want to exactly copy. But this idea was made from a post that I saw on, I think, Pinterest. Yeah. And it was by Apronic with double I's. Aproniic. If you guys are on Pinterest and you would like to see this design, oh, here's one. It's on Pinterest. And you can go ahead and look for him. But this is my version of it. And I think it looks so cool. It looks so menacing. It's so tall. But imagine if we do have a path that leads all the way down there. And just walking up and down, this would be such a great sight to see. It's so majestic. It's so, I don't know, very, I guess, magical. I'm not too sure if that's the right word. But as you can see, we only have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I did say that I was going to make this whole thing, or add all these things all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. But as you can see, the mountain is very far down and we have a very large hole there that I do need to fill first. We do need to do some terraforming before we do that. So I don't think I'm going to add any more banners yet, but we definitely will once I start fixing up this hole here and we start terraforming, just to make it a little bit more smooth. We can actually add a pathway through. But looking up, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. So just imagine you're walking up this entire thing. I think we'll have a pathway that curves all the way up and around, and it'll take us to around here. But look at that. Just walking up this thing would be so amazing and cool. Just passing each one of these banners, I think is an absolute treat. But of course, we won't be able. Look at this view. Oh wow, that's a very, very cool view. But yes, this build is now done for now. For today's episode, at the very least, we won't touch it until we come back to the library to add your comments in those books into those chiseled bookshelves. For now, we need to go ahead and get back to base because we are going to start the next build. Oh my gosh, so much building and such little time to do it. So let's go ahead and let's go back. But let's take a look before we do. Oh yeah, look at that. That's so cool. We're going to have a couple other ones over there and there as well, I think. Maybe just another 4. But let's go back and let's get started with today's build. Well, we don't actually have to build yet because we do need to dig a rather large hole. Yep. Story of my life. So today's build, we're going to do it just down that way. Let's walk through our little street over here. Wow. Full for days. We're going to go underground here just because it's a little bit of a shortcut. And here we are. So today's build is going to be situated right here. Okay. We're going to remove these trees and also the scaffolding. We might use the scaffolding again just over there, but for today's build, as you can see, I already have some of the materials. We're going to get rid of these trees over here and we're going to build it up and around. Okay. I will go ahead and explain to you guys what the build is actually going to be, but I think the best way to explain to you guys is by showing you why we need it. And we're going to do that first by digging a massive hole. As you can see, I have my beacon over here. I'm going to dig down. Going to have some redstone like most of my builds do, so we're going to need to dig a nice big space for it, and then we'll get back to you, or I'll get back to you once it's time to start building. Okay, so we'll dig a hole, we'll build the actual build, and then we'll do the redstone. Okay, I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Otherwise, enjoy the little digging hole montage. Alright guys, I'll see you in just a moment. Ouch. Welcome back, guys. As you can see, we have created a very successful mob farm. Got a couple of things in here that we need to be worried about. Should have put some torches, but I forgot. That's okay. As you guys can see, we've dug out a very large hole. And that's why we're going to put part of the build and also the whole redstone. As you can see, quite a big space. It did take us quite some time, I think about 2 hours, maybe more. But I did stream this and it was very fun. So thanks to those who have joined the stream and watched me ramble about anything and everything that came to my mind. But with this being done, I want you guys to take a look at my pickaxe. As you can see, it is very low on durability. Now, let me go ahead and show you how I go ahead and I restore my tools, and then I'll talk about why we're building what we're building today. Okay, so let's make our way all the way up to the top. We are now just coming out of the super smelter building, and we're going to make our way all the way across to our villager inn, which I believe is just behind this building here. There it is. Let's avoid that guy because it's going to throw something at us. Do it if you can. Didn't think so. Ouch. And we're going to make our way down this little secret door, I guess. And down here, this is our little sewage area. Now, I'm going to fix this place up. It's not the best at the moment, but we will definitely work on it. If you guys do know, you guys have seen the episode where we make the villager inn. This is where I'm keeping all the villagers, where I keep my villager breeder. And at the moment, yeah, we've got quite a ton of those. We need them for later on, but just gone ahead and turned it off because we don't want too much and we don't want to lag this entire place. But through this corner, we go down that little hatch, we come through here, and through this doorway, we have a whole bunch of villagers currently sitting here and waiting for me to trade with them. That's right, guys. I use this little dungeon here just so I can mend my tools. Yep. Every time I need to mend my pickaxe, every time I need to mend my elytra wings, I come down here and I trade with these guys slow and painfully, making sure that I get all the experience so that we mend all of our tools. Yep. It's quite tedious and it is quite slow. So today's build, we're going to solve this issue. We're going to make it so that we don't have to trade villagers like this ever again in order to repair our tools. We're going to make it so that we pay these villagers to give us experience. And I know it's a bit confusing, but maybe some of you guys might know what I'm talking about. Certain villagers have a certain bottle that can give us some experience, and we're going to take advantage of that system in order to mend our tools. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why don't we just make an Enderman farm? We could, but I think those things are very, very overpowered, and I really do want to pretty much keep my hands or have my hands in the, I guess, the process of mending my tools. And I feel like if we go to the end and we do the Enderman farm, it's really, really easy to do, and it kind of takes the whole process out of it. So that's why I do make a lot of redstones. I do incorporate a whole bunch of other little processes along the way, and I feel like the Enderman farm, it's so easy, it's so simple. Once you make it, you will have to just, you know, not do much in order to interact with it, other than just stand there and watch them die, right? This one, well, I suppose you have to hit them, but with this one, it's going to be very interactive. It's going to have a little bit of role-playing in it, and it's going to be very, very fun. Of course, you guys will see what I mean once we get there, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and get a whole bunch more experience. I think that should be enough. Let's go ahead and let's turn these all into... Oh, perfect. 16 and 16. Never thought I'd see the day. Alright, fellas. You okay with being stuck here forever? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's get out of this little dungeon and this sticky store. Oop. There we are. And freaking tastic. So, with that being said, I'm going to get started with this build. We're going to tear this down first, actually. Get rid of these two trees and the scaffolding, and then we'll start making the build. And then I'll come back to you guys and we'll talk about the color palette, talk about the texturing, and why I did what I did. Sounds good? Fan-heckin-tastic. See you in just a short moment. Enjoy the little montage. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, or just gentlemen. We are now complete with the build that goes at the very top. We still have a very large hole that we need to fill, but before we do that, let's go and let's have a look at what I've done. Let me see if I can get a little bit further back. Yeah. So this here is what I would call the Cleric station or the Cleric house, Cleric shop. Basically, this is where we're going to be getting all of our XP from, and I think it's a beautiful little design. I really wanted to get it back into the, I guess, to the nature of builds, literally, because I am trying to use a lot more stone, a lot more mossy variants. The last builds that we have had on this channel are very colorful, and they don't really use these kind of blocks. Yes, we do have it here, but it's been a while since I've used that kind of texturing, and we've added a bit more onto it. Obviously, this big thing is in the way, but if you check out from the very front, you can see a little bit more with what I'm going for. Basically, we have this whole building, which is made out of stone, and over time, this stone is slowly deteriorating and slowly holding up. As you can see, we got some fungus, not fungus, fungi. We got some stuff growing, some moss that's been catching onto the top because it is, again, the highest point on this stone building. Getting some moisture, getting some wind, and therefore it's now starting to rot its way down, as you can see there. So we've got that coming off the roof line, and also we have another one that's coming off this little, I guess, shelter, or maybe it's an awning. But either way, we have this going down as well. So we have two separate little leakage lines, I guess you could say. And as you can see, we got a whole bunch of other texturing done as well, mainly to do with the roof. When I designed this build, I just pretend that there's a light coming that way. Look, the sun is that way. Perfect. So the sun is coming from that way and it's shining down like this. So it's brighter on one end and it's darker on one end. And it's the same with the roof as well. If I get into my little cam, you can see it is darker and then lighter. And because the sun's that way and it's shining across, this over here is a little bit darker than it is at the top, a bit lighter here. And then where this wall is, it gets a little bit darker. That's what we're done in terms of the texturing. Didn't do that for this roof of here. I don't know why. I think I forgot. But this is just another little space that I wanted to create because it was very flat. I think if you ever have a flat wall, best thing you can do is to add some more shape. That's what I did here. Basic texturing with this as well. Use this same block choice just to kind of connect the builds together because it is always going to be nice if they do have something in similar and also matches up with that little opening there for our super smelter shop. Just a nice little piece of connective tissue. We also have a nice little cross up there, and I think that's a candle. Yep, and I put a candle up there as well. Got some of these little ledges that I've used, some spruce fence gates, and also with some levers as well to look like it's holding it all up, and also just decorating with some spruce signs and buttons all along the edges. And just for some highlights, I've used a lot of bright yellow. I think bright yellow and green are a great color, especially if you're using it with gray tones. I think that kind of pops out and it stands out as well. Now moving on to this big boy over here. I did originally start with that one. In fact, you could print that across to there and that's what it would originally look like, except not broken up. This one here, I purposely made look like it was ruined. Maybe from all the harsh winds. Maybe the roof has just fallen down. Or maybe I just got a little bit lazy and didn't want to make a roof for that one. But that's for no one else to know but you and me. Okay? We have the ruins over here. We also have this big one over here. Kept it simple. Okay? Nothing too crazy. Got some pillars. Got some natural light, I guess, going through. Got a nice little shade that comes across. Again, it was very flat. So what do? You add some shape. You add something sticking out. And that's what I've done over there. The roof, also quite basic. But again, with the same principle. Light from that way. Therefore, it's going to be lighter and darker, as you can see there. Let's go around to the other side. Oh, before we do, I have this little thing here. I've made this little underpass because much like the arches, like I said before in the library build, it frames something that's behind it. For us, we're using this to frame the direction that we need to go. Soon we're going to terraform this, maybe later. We'll terraform this just so it curves in nicely. And then also we'll bring this all back to that retaining wall over there and also shape this one. But as you can see, another pathway into another area that we have in this wonderful, wonderful world, which is fantastic. But nothing crazy on the back. We have a little pipe here that doesn't work, but you know, like pipes, as you can see. This one's functional. This one isn't. But other than that, we have this really cool banner here. A bit of inspiration taken from the large banners over there. Just made it smaller and a little bit more, I guess, padded. But add that in just to keep everything kind of the same. But overall, I think this came out very, very nice. Okay, it's getting dark. Perfect. Let's go ahead and let's go inside and have a look at the interior. So with this one, I really wanted to make it feel cluttered again. Over here, we have a bunch of nether warts because, you know, Cleric, right? They would be selling or growing these over here. Got a bell. We also have a bunch of barrels, chests, and pots just to make this whole thing feel cluttered. And we have this little design here. I really want to make something go up or to build vertically just to cover more space because, as you can see, this is quite a tall building. So we got some of these things here. Not too sure what it is. Maybe it's just little curtains they can pull out, you know, when he's not serving. Other than that, we'll have a cleric in here. We've got some brewing stands in the back as well if we ever need to use it, but we'll have a cleric here and we'll be using him to pay for our XP. We also have a bunch of other decorations. You can go all the way to the top with some more storage. We also have this big sign here that will eventually put a massive bottle of enchanting. I think that's what it's called. We'll use the armor stand for that. And then that'll be all. I've also kept the lighting quite minimal. As you can see, it's minimal enough not to spawn zombies or any kind of mobs, but still feels kind of shady because this place is supposed to be a little bit shady. Okay, and then through this, you have the curtains of these little, I don't know what to call them, but you see them in Japan. When you walk into a shop, they'll have these things sticking out. That's what we have over here. This is to get into this section for the actual worker, and this is for us, get into the back and downstairs. Now, obviously, there's nothing down there but a whole bunch of mobs. We'll fix that up soon. And just looking up, we got a couple of arches again. Not framing anything, just for some style points. But we kept it nice and mossy. Again, just to match this side over here. Okay, we've got some pipes running through as well. Not functional, but this pipe over here is connected to the back that we saw before. And that is our build. Let's go ahead and let's go outside and let's have a one last look before we start building the bottom half. Nice. Oh, zombie. Okay, so that's the top of the house done. The top of the build shop is now complete. We got some more things over here, as you can see. A whole bunch of items and a whole bunch of redstone that we're going to use now for the bonus section. So let's go ahead and sort that out before this guy gets me. I don't want to hit him because we don't want to call more to us. But after that, we can go ahead and we can see how everything works. And then we'll also add in the villagers. Oh boy, that's going to be really fun. Okay, let me go ahead and let me avoid this guy. We'll get some sleep. And then I'll see you guys underground where we'll continue our building. Alrighty. So, we have gone ahead and we have finished the bottom section, and as you've seen, we've also added in a whole bunch of villages. Well, I think you only saw maybe one or two, but I've gone ahead and I have added in a whole bunch more villages into this little system, and just turn on the full bright here so you can have a great big look at what we have done. Okay, so this here is the redstone, and we got a bit of the face of the rest of the build. We still need to make this into a big box and kind of cover it up so we don't see this, well, the really ugly redstone that I've gone ahead and added into it. But I'll go through on the side. You can see we have a bunch of brewing stands, and pretty much where there is a brewing stand, there is a villager. Let's go ahead and let's fly up. Ooh, almost didn't make it. As you guys can see, we have a whole bunch of villagers here. And they are all being traded to masters so we can get a bunch of these bottles of enchanting for about 1 emerald. I think you get 12 per emerald, which means you get 12, 24, 36, 48, and then 60. So we get 60, almost a full stack per, I guess, per layer, right? So I've gone ahead and I've traded with these guys. You can also see they're discounted. What I didn't show you guys is that I've gone ahead and also turned these guys into villagers. No, into zombie villagers and then back into villagers so we can get that discount. Only did it once because you only really benefit from this once. I don't think you can get any lower than 1 emerald, right? But if that's not right, let me know in the comments down below. But as you can see, a whole bunch of emeralds, and you can also see my XP has gone way up high because I've done a lot of trading. Got a bunch of these things here. I don't really know what I'm going to do with these emeralds. Not emeralds, these and the pearls. I do know that we're going to be using a lot of these. And also the redstone lapis we can turn into blue dye. But these guys, not too sure. But we had to trade with them just to get them to masters. And I've also, as you can see, done a whole bunch of trading over here as well. We didn't use all of our emeralds. We have a whole bunch of emeralds. So what I'm going to do is to show you what I do and what I'm planning on doing in order to get those bottle of enchanting. And then I'll talk to you guys about how the redstone works. How's that sound? Okay? We're going to my little creative world and I'll show you how it works. But for now, let's get the ores box and we'll grab a whole bunch of emeralds. And let's turn these guys into some emeralds. Emeralds into emeralds. Okay, let's get up here. Let's just say we trade with these guys. And we get 12 from this guy. 12 from this guy as well. And then 12 from this guy. And we'll do these last two here. Fantastic. And 60 if my math is correct. Fantastic. Okay. Let's get a little bit more XP. Fantastic. So we've gone ahead and we've traded these guys. Well, I guess we can trade them again. But let's just say that we've gone ahead and we've traded for these guys. And all their trades are now locked for the bottle of enchanting. We can press this button here. And it's going to swap these guys out for another bunch, another row of these villagers. And then we can go ahead and we can trade with them again for some new bottle of enchanting, some new bottle of experience. That's basically this whole system. It's pretty cool. It just rotates these guys up and around, or down and around, until we can keep cycling through to keep getting more of these little experience bottles, which I think is very nifty. But that being said, let me go ahead and let me show you how this is actually done, and how it actually works in my creative world. Okay, guys? So I'll see you in there in just a short moment. Okay? Let's go. And welcome to my creative testing world, guys. Let's go ahead and let's have a look at what we've built today. Alright? What you can see right in front of me is pretty much the bare bones. We don't have a great big wall in front of it. We can see all the villagers and we'll be able to see them shuffle down and around. It's going to be quite cool when I go ahead and show you. But before you do, let me go ahead and talk to you about how it works. I think it's pretty cool. So this thing here is pretty much a rotating villager trading hall. Instead of having them all stacked up like in a line that you would usually do, we have them stacked on top of each other and we can press a button for these guys just to rotate through to drop down into each other row and then trade with them like that. This pink line over here is pretty much how we initiate the whole sequence, and it is also our safety mechanism. We have this redstone line that passes into this block and then into this note block. If this block is not here, there cannot be a redstone that passes through. And once we activate the system, this piston is going to shoot down this block and make sure that we cannot send another redstone through until we have completed the sequence. This light bulb over here would pretty much indicate to us when the sequence is okay to go, and then we can press it again. But basically, we press this redstone line, it's going to go into this note block, picked up by this observer, sent into this piston, and then this observer picks that up, and it's going to send it down this chain of observer and pistons, which push all these glass blocks all the way up, and in doing so, it's going to push this again all the way back down, and in doing so, these observers are going to pick up those two changes of blocks, and that will pull these staircases in and push them back out, just enough time for these guys to fall through and land on the next layer. For these guys over here, which are at the bottom level, which we'll be trading at, what happens for them? Once they fall through, there will be an observer with a piece of string. Once they fall through that, the piston will activate, pushing them right across into this bubble elevator. We have to waterlog these chests over here because they too take damage, and if they keep falling and taking damage, eventually they will die, which is a no-go. It's going to be very painful to restock these guys, so we have to keep them alive, and that's what these waterlogged chests are for. So what happens once they go all the way up? Well, basically, same thing happens. We have an observer over here with a string, and it's going to shoot them across once they hit it, and they're going to land safely in this. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't they going to take damage when they fall? Yes, they will. That is why we have this little safety mechanism over here. We have an observer reading that observer with the string. It's going to send a nice short pulse into these dispensers with water buckets. What's going to happen is once they come across, they're going to dispense the water buckets, slowing them down just enough before they suck up the water again, and they take no damage before they land on this level right here. These iron trapdoors are stopping them from jumping because they do like to jump, and if they do, well, it breaks the system if we do try to press it again. Also jumping, they can actually avoid falling down. And that basically is this entire redstone. It is so cool to see it work. So let's go ahead and let's have a look at how it does do that. So we'll take a step back. I'll press the button. We're going to see them fall down. The ones at the very bottom level are going to go behind us, up and then over, and you'll see the water being dispensed, and then they'll land safely without taking any damage. We'll press that once. There we go. And they come through, the water's dispensed, and as you can see, they tried to jump, but the iron trapdoor stops them. So now they're just spinning around all crazy. Let's take another look from the side over here. We'll see them go up and around. Ready? And down they go, up, around, over, and the water and the trapdoors. Isn't that cool? That is pretty much what we're making today. I can't wait for this thing to actually work and just have everything completed. As you can see over there, it's going to look like that, but not on the inside. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's go back to the real world, the survival world, and let's get it all sorted out. How's that sound? Fantastic. I'll see you guys back there, and hopefully it's all built, and then we'll have one last walkthrough. Okay? I'll see you guys there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now done. So we've gone ahead and finished the entire bottom. Not too sure if I've... Well, you don't know there, sir. I'm not too sure if I've gone ahead and showed you guys the entire build for the bottom half, just because it is a bit boring. It's just a bit of covering up and whatnot. We're just building a facade for the inside. But we're now done, so let's go ahead and let's have a walkthrough of this entire build. So we have the shop front, where we'll have the cleric, and it'll be stationed in this place here. And we'll also have a creeper on top of the roof, just because. Inside here, we'll have a cleric. Eventually, we'll put another one in here. It's just going to be a bit tedious because I have already decorated this place without putting in the villager, which was a bit of an oversight, but that's okay. Now we go down here, and as you can see, we finally have a bit of stairs that we can go down, and this will be the entrance into the dungeon, into the secret trading area. Nope, this is not the area. This is just to get into the back. We are going to make this into something later on, I think. Not too sure, but for now we'll just have that door there. But we'll make our way all the way down, and once we get to the very bottom, you see that we have hit a dead end. Wait, 1 second. No, I'm just joking. We have a lever here, and that will open this secret entrance, which will then take us into this nice and hidden room. Look at it. Doesn't it look absolutely fantastic. It's very mossy, it's very dirty, it's very grounded, it's very, well, it feels like kind of a sewer. Maybe this is kind of like a small dungeon slash sewer, but I really like the way it is all turned out with the nice big arches at the very top. As you can see, we've got the gradients going through with the moss, the cobblestone, the andesite, and the diorite. Then we have the tuff over here. I really like this little structure over here. And then we've used some of the weathered copper trapdoors. I think they look great. This color over here is fantastic, kind of matches with the overall theme. And we have these lights to show that this system is ready to be used. And then we have this shulker box here. So once we trade a whole bunch of, let's say, a bottle of experience, we'll put it in here and then just gets shot up all the way to the top. So let's go ahead and let's check out the system. Let's just say I've gone ahead and, you know what? Let's actually go ahead and buy something. Where are my ores? Fantastic. And grab a whole bunch of those. Let's grab some of these guys. Let's just say we'll trade with them because we can. That's 12. That's 24. Let's just say we're done with these guys. We can click this button here and off they go. And these lights will turn off. But then when it's ready, these lights will now turn back on, letting us know that we can use the system again. And we also have a nice little chime. Now for this thing here, let's go ahead and put it in here. It's going to be dispensed. Let's get into our little camera here. It's just going to be dispensed up and around all the way into this other section of redstone. Let me turn on the Fulbright over here. This over here is a whole bunch of other little redstone geniusness. Not really, but a whole bunch of other redstone stuff. You can see we've got an item filter in here. And we also have an item dispenser over here. Just a bunch of droppers, and also it leads to a dispenser at the very top with just a bit of an observer clock over here that we can activate. But how do we activate it? How do we buy experience from these guys? Notice that I did say buy because this is going to be a very, I would say, roleplay kind of type of situation. Let's close that back up. So the whole idea behind this is that we have to buy experience, and we're going to be talking to a very shady character at the very top, and he's going to be able to give us a whole bunch of experience. For this, we'll need, let's grab where are my iron blocks. We'll grab some of these. These will need a iron block. There we go. An iron ingot, sorry. Let's just say we're speaking to a cleric, and we'll ask him, hey, I need to mend my tools. Do I need anything here? No, but we'll mend this guy here. Let's go ahead and let's just throw it to him. And in just a moment, a whole bunch of experience will be given to us. Amazing. That is because of this little redstone bit we've done here. We've got an iron filter, which filters out the iron ingots. Anything else that is not iron ingot will be destroyed, will be sent into that little other hopper. But the great thing about this system is if we need more experience, we just have to give them more ingots. So you can see we can chuck a few, and it's going to be much longer. See that? So it's a bit longer. So the more experience we need, the more ingots we need to pay this person. Now, what I'm going to do, oh, perfect framing. What I'm going to do is ask you guys in the comments, what do you think the price of experience should be? Should it be ingots? Maybe it should be diamonds, or maybe it should be something else, not netherite ingots. I will not be doing that. That's going to be very, very hard to collect. So let me know in the comments below what we should change the currency to. Ingots are a bit easy. I mean, iron ingots are a bit easy. Diamonds we can do. Emeralds are also pretty easy, but let me know in the comments down below what you like to see me change this currency to. Okay? Fantastic. So that is our entire build for today. You know what? Let's just go ahead and get rid of these four because I just like the way this whole system works. And there we go. How cool is that? All right. Let's put this guy away. You can go in there, and you, my friend, can go in there. So that pretty much concludes the rest of this build, the rest of today's episode, except we have one last thing that we got to do. Let's go ahead and let's fly to the library. Because at the start of this episode, I did say we are going to put some of your comments in these books and into this library. So let's go ahead and do it. Yes, the library of subscribers. Maybe the library of you, because you guys are what make this channel and these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support and for everyone welcoming me back. It was absolutely amazing reading everyone's comments. Speaking of comments, I have selected a few. Of course, these are by no means my favorites or anything. I've just selected them at random because they were all pretty freaking amazing. Let's go ahead and let's have a look at these comments, and then we can go ahead and put them away in one of these shelves, okay? So the first one we have from Big Mac, and they say, always when I hear the smoke detector, I get a smile on my face. Hey, Big Mac, and to everyone else worried about the smoke detector, I'm pretty sure it's been changed. Though you can tell me if that's not the case, if you can hear it in the background. I can no longer hear it at all. I think I've completely tuned it out. Okay, so thank you so much for your comment, Big Mac, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Now, moving on to the second comment, which is by Moro. Love your videos. How do you make these signs, like the wall signs and the bone blocks, and so cool? Well, basically I use the armor stand mod, and that mod allows you to put things onto its head, and then you can make that armor stand invisible, and you can make it bigger or smaller. That's how I go about doing that. Thank you so much for watching the episode. I look forward to seeing you in the comments in the next one, or maybe this one, right? And the next one, the third one, we have from Elixir 2000, and they say, hey, love your world. Would you ever consider doing a world download? Would like to walk around the world and get some inspiration. I believe this comment will go great with the next one, so let's go ahead and have a peek at that as well. And that is from Cheer Yoths, and they say, guys, back. So glad you're back, and I have been missed. Thank you so much. I have missed. Is there still plans for a world download on episode 20? 100% there is. So going back to the previous comment by Elixir 2000, we will have a world download on episode 20. Like I said in the other videos, I just wanted to add a bit more into the world before I give it out to you guys. It's going to be completely for free, of course. You guys are amazing, and I want you guys to experience this world, our world, together. All right? And to the final comment of the day, and that is from Shane Gibbons. Shane Gibbons. Slap slowly growing, my man. Soon you'll be up there with Hammercraft players like BOO and Good Times with Scar, showing your skill. Ooh, that is. Listen, I'm really happy reading this comment. If we get anywhere close to these guys, that would be absolutely amazing. But otherwise, just to be even mentioned in the same sentence from you guys it's already amazing. So thank you so much for that, Shane. I really do appreciate your comment. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today. Let's go ahead and let's put this up. I think since we come through here, we're just going to start, and we're going to do it clockwise. Clockwise being like this, right? So let's start over here. Let's grab a scaffold. Where are you? There you are. Let's grab a scaffold and let's go all the way to the top over here. Now, in terms of organizing this, I'm not too sure how we're going to do it. I think we'll do maybe 1 to 3 books per chisel bookshelves, just because we got quite a lot. So we'll go in here, and there we go. The first of many. You guys are now a part of this world forever and ever and ever. Thank you so much, guys. This is really exciting, and I can't wait to add more of these books into this library. Thank you guys so much for this. Again, this is not possible without you, seriously. Seriously. Okay. Well, guys, with that being said, we are going to go ahead and conclude today's episode. It was a fun one. We did a lot of building, a lot of redstone, as we always do, and I want to thank you guys again. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, commenting. If you have anything to say about today's episode, let me know in the comments down below. And also, don't forget, what kind of currency should we use to get all the experience? Alright, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.